My name is Alma Elizabeth Wright. I wanted to be a teacher when I was a kid, when I was probably 12 years old. The William Monroe Trotter was a new school that was opening in Roxbury. I applied and I was accepted as a teacher for the Trotter School. And I was there for 51 years. It's an elementary school. It was a magnet school. We were like the third magnet school in the country, 1969. During that time, Boston had a problem with racial balance in schools. So the Trotter was open to invite white students as well as black students so that they would have a racially balanced school in Boston. I loved the kids. When I grew up, I had a very happy school experience. And I wanted to work with kids and give them the same type of experience I had. One of the things I really enjoy is our outdoor classroom. The children plant things in the garden, then they grow. One of the big things we do, they plant green vegetables, and we will harvest them, and the kids would sit in the garden and eat a salad. I really enjoy that because a lot of our city students don't know where their vegetables are coming from. I really enjoy the success of a lot of our kids. I think students need to know that an adult cares about you, and I want you to do well. And if there's anything I can do to help you do well, let me know.
My name is Jehu Leconte. I was born and raised in Haiti, and I arrived in the US at the age of 15. I am the founder and the CEO of a nonprofit called Eden, where we help families permanently escape homelessness. The passion started with my mom. She served a lot of folks in a low-income community. This legacy was passed down to me as a way to contribute heavily to those who are less fortunate. One of our family went to a tax accountant, and her identity was stolen completely. She was afraid because she almost lost her housing. And when she reached out to us in tears, and we did not have the resources to really assist her, we reached out to ABCD Roslindale. The family, they were relief to know that there's a trusted ally and trusted partner that they can go to. And we were the one transporting them to ABCD so that way they can fill out the tax. And through there, we developed a wonderful relationship. And ABCD thought I would be a very great fit to join and serve as an advisory board member for the Jamaica Plain and also Roslindale. And we started communicating on how we can help the community better with the rise of inflation. I'm incredibly honored and privileged to be recognized as a community hero, but Eden and ABCD are fully aware that who the true hero is the family that we serve.
My name is Victor Baldassari. I was born and raised in South Boston. I work for the Boston Water and Sewer Commission. I've been there coming up on 28 years. Back in 1991, I started as a youth worker with the West Broadway Task Force. Great organization, and they just provided services, In the ABCD too, I remember going to the ABCD as a kid. My parents used to send me up there to get the butter and the cheese. I remember like it was yesterday. Going back as a kid from the neighborhood growing up, I think sports was an outlet. It definitely was an outlet for me. I never stopped being involved in youth sports. A very good friend of mine, Joe Curran, we ran basketball in the projects for the kids, so I always reffed basketball. And then kickoff for kids, great program. Girl Allison Baker started it. She had an idea of running flag football. Sat down and said, maybe we'll give it a shot and put it together. I jumped on board as a referee, started it last year. Started it at 200 kids, and this fall we're over 400 kids. We play in South Boston. It's called Friday Night Under the Lights. A few words can change a kid's outlook in life. It can really impact them in a positive way. It's really important. Even the simple of hello, their name, a little interaction can really change a person's mindset. Strongly believe that people can impact someone's life. Somebody did it for me. I got put into a position as the youth worker. I paid it forward. Pay it forward means you pass it on. I've always lived my life that way.
My name is Ruhl. I live in the Fields Corner neighborhood of Dorchester. The Dorchester Community Fridge is a mutual aid project aimed at fighting food insecurity in our communities. Dorchester, especially during the pandemic, saw a huge increase in food insecurity, and that rate was already pretty high. And in Fields Corner in particular, we also, at the start of the pandemic, lost the grocery store that was sort of central in the neighborhood. And that was really the start of the Community Fridge Project. I have been exposed to food insecurity for most of my life, so I know that this is something that really affects quality of life. My primary focus for the group has been getting through all the hoops and hurdles needed to build our new permanent location. The ABCD Dorchester office we thought was a good spot. With the city's free bus program, this Dorchester office location is now only a block from a bus stop that's served by 3 major routes that are now completely fare-free. So that's an additional removal of a barrier for anyone who needs to access food support. It's hard to overstate the amount of fear and uncertainty that comes with not knowing where your meal is going to come from. And so to try to alleviate that burden for folks is, I think, really, really important.
My name is Letitia Bento. I grew up in the Roxbury area. I got to know Cynthia Bell and Dorothy Mullins, and I got to know that Cynthia was president of the Women's Service Club. The Women's Service Club was established when women from the South migrated to the North. They trained them, and they also gave them a place to stay. The mission of the Women's Service Club now is to really uplift the youth and have them know that they matter and that they play a great part in society. It was 2020 that we decided that we were going to do a winter clothing drive for Globe Santa. So I happened to work at the Globe, and I reached out to the facilitators of Globe Santa, and they said they needed winter clothing for children. So I reached out to Cynthia and to Dottie and said, you know, this is what I know Globe Santa needs. And Cynthia said, well, I'll get the Women's Service Club involved, and we'll put it all together. Sometimes you don't realize how small things can really have a big effect and a big impact on people. But it's nice when people come back that you've done something very small for, and you may not even remember that you've done it, but they come back and they thank you for it. They're very grateful for what you've done. So just the impact that even the tiniest thing can have on a person's life is what I get joy out of.
My name is William Watkins, born and raised in Boston. I've been with the Urban League for 12 years. I am the Vice President of Digital Strategies and Partnerships. The Urban League is a civil rights organization that has been in the Boston community for over 104 years. Our focus is in and around workforce development, domestic violence, and we have a STEM program for youth, training young people how to fly drones. One of the things that I've come to realize, especially during the pandemic, we hadn't satisfied the bridge of the digital divide. So at the Urban League, I designed a coding program. It takes a person who does not know anything about coding, and they learn these different coding languages within a 20 weeks time. I can tell you of a young woman would walk past the Urban League, 6 a.m. in the morning. She would take her child to preschool, and later that day, she would show up at the Urban League. And she goes through that process, coding for 20 weeks, and after the end of that 20 weeks, she ends up with a job making $85,000, single woman from Roxbury. And I can tell you today, I no longer see her walking past that window. You know, it's a poem by Mary McLeod Bethune called The Drums of Africa. And it says, the drums of Africa beat in my heart, and it will not let me rest while there's a single Negro boy or girl without the chance to prove his or her worth. I use that as my driving force to do good. So my life is about that drum beat